So please let me know if I'm visible to all of you. Is it visible?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Now, please let me know. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Chalo. So you all might be aware of the fact that we already have started the audit of what? Cooperative societies. So we'll try our level best to complete this audit in today's session, right? So it will be completed anyhow. So audit of cooperative societies, everyone. I already told you. What is the act of this particular society? The Cooperative Societies Act 1912. So what is the name of the act? The Cooperative Societies Act 1912. Now, in which states it is very much popular, everyone? What are the states where the Cooperative Society Act is very popular? It is very popular in Maharashtra, West Bengal, and Odisha. Are you getting the point? Now, who appoints the auditor of cooperative society? Tell me, everyone in the comment box. Who appoints the auditor of the cooperative societies? Is it being appointed by the members of cooperative society or is it being appointed by the ROCS? ROCS, very nice. What is ROCS, everyone? Registrar of Cooperative Societies. Clear? Now, are you only allowed to provide the auditing services in the cooperative society, or other than auditing services, you can provide other professional services also? You can provide other professional services like account writing services, accounting system installation services, internal audit, management accounting services, and taxation services. So these are the services also you can provide. And next thing, who appoints you as an auditor? That we already know, like the ROCS appoints you. Now tell me, everyone, what is the qualification of being an auditor? Is the only a practicing CA allowed to be the auditor, or other people can also be the auditor of cooperative society? Practicing CA is always the first preference, everyone. First preference will be given to the practicing CA. But other than practicing CA, a government diploma holder in the cooperative accounts. Are you getting the point? And the person who is having experience of being the auditor of cooperative departments of the government. Any of these three people can have the audit of cooperative societies. Clear, everyone? I hope, am I audible and clear to all of you? Yes or no? Because replies are not coming, so I'm
Yes,
yes,
sir.
yeah, okay. Now, next thing, everyone, please tell me how your audit fee will be selected or how your audit fee will be determined. Tell me, everyone.
According to the rank,
According to the rank. Rank of what? Rank of what? Rank of cooperative
cooperative society.
yeah, the whatever the cooperative society you are doing the audit for, its rank will help you in deciding what your audit fees is going to be. Are you getting the point? But generally, it is fixed by whom? It is fixed by the registrar. Are you getting the point? Fixed by the registrar on the basis of the category of the society you are doing the audit for. So tell me, everyone, whether the cooperative society has to maintain 8 types of books of accounts. Yes, books of accounts of sales, purchase, assets and liabilities, income and expenditure. These are the normal books of accounts which every company also maintains. Along with that, there are 5 more books of accounts which the cooperative society has to maintain. What are the 5 more? Daily cash sales register, then cash received from debtors, then loan disbursement register, loan recovery register, and any other subsidiary register according to the nature and fact of the society. Okay, so that also we did. And after that, yes, we started with, okay, can anybody tell me what is the restriction on shareholding in case of cooperative society? If you are an individual member of a cooperative society, how much is the maximum shareholding you can have in that cooperative society?
20% of the total number of shares.
20% of the total number of shares, or
1,000.
1000. 20% of the total number of
1,000.
shares,
1,000.
or 1000 rupees in value. Are you getting the point? But if you are a member, but you are not an individual member, you are another registered cooperative society is a member. In that case,
Also
any
not
limit
limit.
or no limit?
No limit.
In that case, there is no limit. That is called Restriction on shareholding we have done. And what is the restriction on loans? Can a cooperative society give a loan to its members? Yes or no? Can a cooperative society give the loans to its members? Yes, it can give the loans to its members.
Yes.
Can it give a loan to the other than members? Generally allowed or not allowed?
Not allowed.
Not allowed.
Not allowed.
But if other than member is a registered cooperative society and ROCS has given you the permission, then
Allowed.
it is allowed. Did you remember this chart or not? So to whom it is allowed? It is allowed to the members, definitely. It is allowed to the non-member also, but then non-member should be which society? Registered society, and with the prior approval of whom? ROCS. Not allowed to the non-members who are what in nature? Individuals in nature. Clear or not, everyone? Yes? Okay. Now, next point. Restrictions on the borrowings, everyone. So there are no restrictions actually on the borrowings. You can take the loans from the members also. You can take the loans from the non-members also. But when you are taking the loans from the non-members, make sure that you are taking the loans within what? Bylaws of the society. I hope that was the last point we have done in the cooperative society. Yes or no? Yes. So now,
Yes, sir.
what is the next topic we have to start today? We have to start today about what? We have to start today about the investments of funds. Now remember everyone, whatever the cooperative society receives, obviously they will not keep the money idle. Now say for example, if I'll put 1,000 rupees in your pocket and after 10 days or after 1 year, if I'll tell you okay, how much rupees it has become after 1 year, it was in your pocket only. So idle money will grow or idle money does not grow? Tell me, idle money grows or does not grow? Idle money does not grow. 1,000 will remain 1,000 only even after 1 year or even after 10 years also. But when the money grows, when it is saved or saved and invested? Invested. So cooperative society also can invest its money, but remember one thing, cooperative society can invest money only in these 5 investments. How many investments? These 5 investments only it can invest the money. First of all, where you can invest the money? You can invest the money in the central or state cooperative bank. Go to this bank and open one savings bank account and put your money in that. So you can invest in the what? Central and state. Which bank? Not the normal banks. It should be a cooperative bank. Central or state cooperative bank. Or now directly come to the point number D, everyone. Other than central and state cooperative bank, you can go, yes. Any other cooperative bank other than central or state cooperative bank, but as approved by whom? Registrar. So it means first of all, so you can go to the central or state cooperative bank, there you can invest. If you don't want to go to the central or state cooperative bank, you want to go to the another cooperative bank, you can go. But you have to take a prior permission of whom, or make sure that that bank is approved by whom? ROCS. Are you getting the point? 2 points are over. Point number 3, everyone. Read the point number B. Any of the securities specified under section 20 of the Indian Trust Act 1882. So if you want to invest, you can invest in those securities which are specified under section number 20 of which act? Indian Trust Act 1882. There also you can invest the money. You can invest the money in the shares, securities, bonds, and debentures of any other cooperative society, but having a which liability? Limited liability. So that cooperative society, if suppose there is one another cooperative society which is issuing the shares, debentures, bonds and everything, you can invest in that cooperative society also. But make sure that in that cooperative society, it should have a limited liability. So that is the point number 4. And point number 5, in any other money is permitted by the central government or state government. So these are the 5 areas where your investment can be made. So everyone please help me out with the 5 areas where you can make the investments. Tell me where you can make the investments, everyone. Write in the comment box. First one, you can make the investment in the central or state cooperative banks. Can you go to the any other cooperative bank? Any other cooperative bank, but that should be permitted by whom? ROCS. What is the third one? You can invest in the Section 20 securities. Section 20 securities of Indian Trust Act 1882. You can also invest in any other registered society in its shares, in its debentures, in its bonds. But that registered society having a which liability, everyone? Having a which liability? Limited liability. Yes, limited liability. And what is the fifth method where you can invest? You can also invest in central or state government security. Central or state government security. Now, I'll tell you the reason also why these 5 areas allowed where the restriction on investment have been kept. These all 5 are highly liquid investment. Sir, what do you mean by highly liquid investments? Whenever they want, they can easily convert it into cash. Are you getting the point? So these are the 5 areas which are restricted for a cooperative society to invest with. I hope all of you understood the point. Please write in the comment box if you have all understood. What are the 5 restrictions? These are the 5 restrictions of investment made by the cooperative society. Everyone understood? Please write in the comment box. Those who have understood. Yes? Okay, great. Okay, nice. Now, next point. Appropriation of profits. Now, remember one thing, if you are a cooperative society, some percentage, if you are a cooperative society, some percentage of your net profits, before any kind of distribution of bonus or before any kind of distribution as a dividend must be transferred to a reserve fund. Again repeating, if you are a cooperative society, what the auditor has to check that every year before distributing any bonus and before distributing any dividend to its members, some percentage. Sir, what is that some percentage? Nowhere it is written in the act. That percentage will be decided by the management committee of the cooperative society. Some percentage of net profits, those net profits which are before distribution of dividend and before distribution of the bonus, some percentage must be transferred to which reserve fund? Will be transferred to the reserve fund by the company, by the cooperative society. So you can read the point number 8, everyone. According to section number 3 of Central Act, a prescribed percentage, what do you mean by prescribed percentage? That depends upon the case to case basis, should be transferred to reserve fund before distribution as dividend or bonus to the members. Remember one thing, you have to calculate this percentage on net profits which are before distribution in the form of dividends and before distribution in the form of what? Bonus. Clear, everyone? Point number 9. Sir, what is the point number 9? Point number 9 is contributions to charitable purpose. Now, some cooperative societies wants to make a charity. Are you getting the point? Some cooperative societies wants to make a charity. Sir, are they allowed to make a charity? Yeah, Shakti Kala, no issues. Come back again, don't worry. Shakti Kala, are you now in the class? Okay. Is it fine now? Everyone, feel free to ask me the backup of any class. If you need a particular class backup, don't worry. I'm recording these classes. The backups are there with me. Okay. In case you are in need of any kind of backup of the class, please let me know. Why, Raja sir, what kind of backup you are looking for? I will definitely share my recorded class with you. Don't worry at all. Okay, Shakti Gala? Yes or no? Okay. Now, everyone, please understand. There is one cooperative society. Now, this cooperative society wants to make a charity. Can you make a charity? Yes. How much? Not exceeding how much, everyone? 10% of the net profits. But what net profits? These net profits are those net profits which are after compulsory transfer to the reserve fund. Now, in the point number 8, did we transfer some funds to the reserve fund or not? Yes. After transferring the funds to the reserve funds, then only you can make the charity. That to maximum how much? 10% of the net profits remaining after the compulsory transfer to the reserve fund. Clear or not? Now, whatever the money whatever the money you are keeping in the reserve fund, sir, for what purpose this money can be used? You are keeping the money in the reserve fund every year or not? Yes. So for what purpose this money can be used? This money can be used for three purposes. So what are the three purposes? It can be used in the business of the society as a working capital. It means you can use the reserve fund as a working capital. You can invest that money as per the provisions of the act. Tell me everyone in the comment box, in how many ways you can invest the money? 2 ways, 3 ways, 5 ways, or 4 ways? In how many different ways you can invest the money of the cooperative society? So they are saying that you can use the money as a working capital. At the same point of time, you can invest the money like this. Like this means, array, 3, Komal also 3. Mad fellows, just now I told you 5 methods are there. Didn't I tell you there are 5 methods by which you can invest the money? Yes or no? Yes. So are you getting the point? The money which you are transferring to the reserve fund, you can invest it in 5 different ways. What are the 5 different ways now? What are the 5 different ways? Unmute yourself, Komal. Tell me the 5 different ways. In which 5 areas you can invest the money? Xavier and
I
Komal.
don't remember.
So don't remember. Where is your concentration then?
Sorry.
So remember, 5 things are what? You can invest it in the central or what? State cooperative bank. You can invest it in the any other cooperative bank, but must be approved by whom? ROCS. You can invest it in the securities of central and state government. You can invest it in the securities, shares, debentures, bonds of any other cooperative society having a limited liability. You can also invest it in the section number 20 securities of which act, everyone? Indian Trust Act 1882. So I will do one thing. When we'll practice, I'll make sure that I will give you the chart after the end of this investment wala case. Are you getting the point? So whatever the money you are transferring to reserve fund, that money can be utilized as what? Working capital, and that money can be invested as per the provisions of the act, or that money can be used for some public purposes like to promote the object of the society. It means you can utilize that money for promoting the object of the society also. Don't worry, I'll give you the notes at the end of the whole what do you say, cooperative societies act, right or not? Next one, contribution to the education fund. Remember one thing, if you are a cooperative society, you have to every year contribute. I'm saying you have to means what? Optional or compulsory? Optional or compulsory? Have to means what? It is compulsory. Every cooperative society compulsorily annually shall contribute some portion of their money towards what? Just remember this word: education fund of the state federal society. This is your MCQ question, came in your November 20 examination. So every cooperative society has to contribute annually towards education fund of state federal society. Just remember this word as it is. Are you getting the point? Education fund of the state cooperative society. Crystal clear, everyone? Yes or no? So this is what all the points you should have known about the cooperative society. This is called general audit of the cooperative society is over. Now, should I write the all the 8 to 10 restrictions here only, everyone? Shall we revise it? Please write in the comment box so that we
Yes,
can,
sir.
yeah. So everyone, please tell me, point number 1, who appoints the auditor? Let me write the whole chapter here only, so far what we have done. Who appoints the auditor? And remember one thing, I will zoom it up. You can take the screenshot at the end. ठीक है, पूरा screenshot ले लेना इसका, and make sure that this whole chapter will be there in your pocket. So everyone, please tell me, who appoints the auditor? Tell me, who appoints the auditor? Write in the comment box quickly. Everyone, be active. Write in the comment box, who appoints the auditor? ROCS. Point number 2, what are the qualifications of an auditor? What are the qualifications of an auditor? It can be a practicing CA. It can be a government diploma holder in cooperative accounts. Am I correct or not? And it can be an auditor if you are an auditor of cooperative department of what? government. If you have worked as an auditor in the cooperative department of government, then also you are eligible. Clear, everyone? Point number 3. How's your audit fees is discussed? Audit fee is being prescribed by whom? Prescribed by ROCS. On the basis of what? Category of society you are doing the audit for. Category of the society. Clear, everyone? Point number 4. What kind of books of accounts you have to check? You have to check sales and purchase, assets and liabilities, receipts and payments, loan disbursement register, loan recovery register, recovery from debtors register, cash sales summary register, and any other subsidiary. Clear or not? Let me know if I'm doing any mistake. I'll immediately rectify. These are normal books of accounts, and these are the additional books of accounts. Clear, everyone? Okay, in which state it is very much popular? These audits are very popular in which state? So they are very much popular in which states, everyone? It is popular in Maharashtra,
West Bengal.
Orissa, and what? West Bengal. Clear or not? Now, point number 6. Only audit services? No. Other professional services also you can provide? Yes. What are the other professional services you can provide, everyone? You can provide internal audit, yes or no? Yes. You can provide taxation, yes or no? Yes. You can provide account writing, yes or no? Yes. You can also provide installation of what? Accounting system? Yes. And you can also provide management accounting system. Do you all agree? Write in the comment box. Yes or no? Yes. So, next point. What is the restriction on shareholding, everyone? Everyone, what is the restriction on the shareholding? If you are an individual member, there is a restriction that maximum 20% of number of shares or rupees 1000 in value. Correct? And if you are a society member, any restriction or no restrictions? No restriction. Clear or not? Okay. Point number 2, everyone. Is there any restriction on loans? Yes. What is the restriction on loan allowed? To whom you can give the loan? To whom you can't give the loan? Not allowed. Tell me, everyone, to whom it is allowed? Are we allowed to give the loan to the members? Yes. Are we allowed to give the loan to the non-members? Yes, but that non-member should be a registered society, that too with the prior approval of whom? ROCS. Clear or not? Everyone justified? Clear? Now, not allowed to whom? We are not allowed to give it to the non-members. Which non-members, everyone? Who are individuals. I hope you all are able to read the charts properly now. Is it looking better? Okay. So point number 3 भी over हो गया. So tell me, everyone, what is the restriction? What is the restrictions on borrowings? Can you tell me what are the restrictions on borrowings? No restriction. Only one restriction is we have to do the borrowings under what? Bylaws of the society. Okay. Point number 4. Do we have a restriction on investments? Now the Komal can tell. What are the 5 restrictions on investment? We can invest in what? Central or state cooperative banks. We can invest in what? Other cooperative banks. But they should be approved by whom? ROCS. We can invest in the securities, shares, bonds, and debentures of registered society having a which liability? Limited liability. We can also invest in the section number 20 securities of Indian Trust Act 1882, and we can also invest in the central or state government securities. Am I correct or not? Correct. Chalo. Restriction on investment is also over. 5th one. Yes. Do we have to compulsory transfer to refunds? Transfer to reserve fund? Yes. How much percentage? Prescribed percentage. On which net profits? Those net profits which are after the dividend or before the dividend? Before dividend or bonus declaration. Am I correct or not? Clear, everyone? Point number 6. Can you make the charities? Yes. Maximum how much allowed? 10% allowed. Maximum how much allowed? 10% allowed. 10% on net profits left after compulsory transfer to reserve funds. Yes or no? Yes, sir. No. Do you have to do the compulsory contribution to the education fund? Yes. How much? Annually. There is no nothing percentage. Annually you have to do to the what? Education fund of. I made you underline that education fund of State Federal Society. Education fund of State Federal Society. Everyone, what can be the uses of reserve fund? The money which is left in the reserve fund, can I use that money? Yes, I can use that money as working capital. Yes or no? Yes, I can use that money as working capital. I can use that money for what? For investments. I can use that money for what? For serving objects. Now tell me, is it looking easier now? So your whole chapter is in front of you. Completely whole chapter is in front of you. Now I will zoom it up and please make sure that you are making a snapshot of that. Take a screenshot, everyone, and make sure that you retain this screenshot for a longer period of time. You no need to read the 4 chapters at 4 pages. Did I read the 4 pages in front of you? Yes. Clear? CC. Okay. Everyone, please let me know if any doubt is there. If no doubt, we can move to the next part of cooperative society audit. So please zoom little bit. Okay. Do you want to take 2 screenshot, Gautam? Will you take 2 screenshot, Gautam? Yes. Okay. First, take this much of screenshot. Is it fine? Now, take the second one. Is it fine now, Gautam?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now everyone, I hope you all have taken the screenshot, right? Hello. Now, whatever we have done so far is not at all a part of audit. This is called general considerations of the audit. Now we have to understand what are the special things in the cooperative society audit which the auditor has to do. Remember one thing, whatever we have done so far, whatever is written in front of you, that is called general considerations of an audit. So what is the name of the topic? Whatever I wrote is known as general considerations of cooperative society audit. Now general is over. Now we are going to go for a special. Sir, what do you mean by special? These are the must things you have to verify when you are doing the cooperative society audit. These are the must things you have to verify. So what do you mean by must things? Point number one. The biggest problem which every cooperative society suffers, that is called overdue debts. Everyone please tell me, in the bank audit, did I tell you the meaning of NPA or not? In the bank audit, we did the meaning of NPA. Can anybody tell me what do you mean by NPA? An account which is overdue for more than how many days?
90
Yes,
days.
more than 90 days. It is known as NPA. Same thing happens in the cooperative society also. Same thing. If in the cooperative society there are overdue debts, what do you mean by overdue debts? Say for example, cooperative society has given the loan to some people. Are you getting the point? But those people are not regular in repayment of the loan. Now tell me, is it a loss of money of the members of the society or not? Yes. Now, what are the things the auditor has to check in that? Now, remember one thing, each and every point I will underline and I will write it in a short manner for your betterment. Now, see, what are the two types of overdue debts the auditor has to check? Point number one, overdue debts from 6 months to 5 years and more than 5 years. So, what are the two types of overdue debts he has to check? Those people who are overdue from 6 months to 5 years. It means it's been more than 6 months and it is maximum 5 years that these people have not paid the money yet. And those overdues which are overdue for more than 5 years will have to be classified and shall have to be reported by the auditor. So tell me everyone, which two types of overdue debts you have to report? Overdue debt number one, 6 months, more than 6 months to 5 years and more than 5 years. These are the two types of overdues you have to report. Now, overdue debts have a far-reaching consequence on the working capital on the credit society. Are these overdues having any effect on the working of the credit society or not? Next, is it affecting the working capital position of the society or not? Yes. Whether are there any chances of recovery of overdue debt or not? Whether they have been classified as good or bad or not. And auditor also have to ascertain whether the proper provisioning for doubtful debts have been made and the same is satisfactory or not. These are the total 6 to 7 things you have to understand in the overdue debt. So I'm writing here only, everyone. What are the things you have to check in the overdue debt? Point number one, you have to check the overdue debt from 6 months to 5 years and more than what? 5 years. Two types of overdue debts you have to check. Point number two, is it affecting working of credit society or not? Is it affecting the working of society or not? Next thing, is it affecting the working capital of society or not? Yes. Is it classified as good debt or bad debt? Whether the society has classified it as good debt or bad debt or not. Next point, whether adequate provisions for doubtful debt has been made or not. right or not? Whether there are any chances of recovery is there or not, and if there is any chances of recovery, whether steps taken or not. Steps for recovery taken or not. Did you all understand these 7 points which the auditor has to do in the overdue debts? Everyone, please tell me, did you all understand? Yes or no in the comment box? Yes or no? So what type of overdue debts we are checking, everyone? We are checking those kind of overdue debts which are 6 months to 5 years. At the same point of time, we are checking those overdebts which are more than 5 years. Second thing we are checking, are they being classified as a good or bad debt or not? Whether it is affecting working capital or not, whether it is affecting functioning of the society or not, are there any chances of recovery or not? If the chances of recovery, whether the society has taken the initiative or not, or did we provide the proper provision for doubtful debt or not? And when we provided for the doubtful debt provision, is it satisfactory or not? All these things the auditor has to check while doing the audit of which society, everyone? Cooperative society audit. Clear, everyone? Yes or no? Now, everyone, please tell me, if there is a overdue debt, there will be a overdue interest on overdue debt will also be there or not? If there's a overdue debt, there will be a overdue interest on overdue debt also or not? Yes. So my question is very simple. Do you remember in the audit of banks what I told you? In case of NPAs, the interest income on the NPA shall be recognized on accrual basis or receipt basis? Receipt basis. Do you all remember that in the NPA we have done? The income on the overdue debts must be done on the receipt basis. Same thing here, everyone. Same thing here. Now see, what is written? Overdue interest should be excluded from the interest outstanding and accrued due while calculating the profit. Overdue interest is interest accrued or accruing in accounts amount of which the principal is overdue. In practice, an overdue interest reserve is created and the credit of overdue interest credited to the interest account is what? Reduced. What they are saying that if you have already included it in your income as a cooperative society, but so far you have not received it, reduce it. What do you mean by reduce it? You have to reverse it, because overdue interest can only be recognized on which basis, everyone? To be recognized on which basis?
Receipt.
On receipt basis. And if you have already added, what we are going to do? Are we going to allow you to add it in your income? So don't you think that it will be a unnecessary overflow of the income or not? It will be unnecessary overstatement of income? Yes. So we will tell to the cooperative society, please reduce that interest. That is not at all your what? Income. Please reduce it from the interest account. Did you all understand? Yes or no? Any doubt in the first 2 points? Everyone? Please write in the comment box any doubt or no doubt. If no doubt, we can move to the next point. Now, this is a very interesting point, everyone. The third point is very interesting. Certification of bad debts. अब इसको ध्यान से सुनना. In the Cooperative Society Act, there is a very different kind of rule. So what do you mean by different kind of rule? They are simply saying that if bad debt is bad debt, who is going to classify? Who classifies that if something is a bad debt? Now tell me, generally in the company, who declares that something is bad debt or something is not a bad debt? Is it the auditor who declares or is it the management who declares? Who is running the company, everyone? Management. So management declares that something is a bad debt or a good debt, or auditor will declare? Management will declare. But in case of cooperative society, it is vice versa. In the case of cooperative society, auditor shall classify. Auditor shall classify it as what? Bad debt. If the auditor will say it is a bad debt, then only the management will call it as a bad debt. Are you getting the point? But if some cooperative societies are not using these rules, then in that case, management of the cooperative society will declare it as a bad debt. So generally, So if we'll talk about generally, who declares the bad debts? Auditor declares the bad debt. And if you are not using or if you are not following the rules and regulations, then in that case, otherwise, who will declare? Management committee will declare. That is what is written in our paragraph, everyone. So everyone, please read it very carefully. A peculiar feature regarding the writing of a bad debts as per the Maharashtra State Cooperative Society rule is very interesting to note. So this is where it is very much popular. Maharashtra State Cooperative Society rules 1961 में it is being said that as per the rules, bad debt can be written off only when they are certified as bad by whom? Auditor. Bad debts or irrecoverable losses before writing off against the bad debts fund, reserve fund, etc. should be certified as bad debt or irrecoverable losses by the auditor, where the law so requires. Where no such a requirement exists, the management committee of the society may authorize to write off. So everyone, please tell me those societies which are covered under Maharashtra Cooperative Society Rules 1961, who will declare? As bad debt? Auditor will declare. Clear or not? Right or not? Other than that, management committee will declare. So I hope you all are able to retain the specific points also. Like in the general, I made one chart like this. I'll make one chart for the specific also so that you can note down the whole thing or you can take the snapshot there. So what are the 3 points we are done with? Examination of overdue debts. Auditor specially has to check. He has to specially check the interest on overdue debts. He has to check on certification of bad debts. Next point. Verification of assets and liabilities. This point though you already know. Everyone, please tell me, what do you mean by assertions? What are the assertions we check in assets and liabilities? Tell me. Do we check the existence, ownership, completeness, accuracy, valuation, rights and obligations, disclosure and presentation? All these points copy paste. You have to write in this point here. So you are just checking the valuation of assets and liabilities. All these points you have to write here. Your auditor shall verify existence, ownership, completeness, accuracy, valuation, rights, obligation. Like in a normal audit. Yes, validity also. Validity we check in case of transactions. Komal. Validity we check in case of transactions. Not here. Okay. Yeah. So we are talking about valuation of assets and liabilities. Now, this is what this point. So no need to read this point. Just remember this point only. So if everyone wants, you can take the screenshot of that. Valuation of assets and liabilities mein what you need to do. This is what you need to do. So do you want me to send this copy also to you in the group? Should I send this material copy to you in the group as well? It will be helpful to you because wherever I'm underlining, wherever I'm doing the things, that will be helpful to you because I'm writing so much. So I'll send it after the class. Okay, after the class, I'll send this copy also to Manoranjana and he or she will distribute it to you in the group. Okay, clear everyone? Chalo. Now, 4 things are over. What is the 5th thing? Adherence to the cooperative society principles. Everyone, please tell me whether a cooperative society must follow the cooperative society principles or not. Yes or no? Yes. So whatever the act you are operating under, you always have to give the respect to that act or not? Yes. So that is what we are asking here also. A auditor also has to check whether that particular cooperative society is nothing but following the cooperative society principles or not. If it is not following the cooperative society principles, then in that case we have to report it. So far 5 points we have done, everyone. What are the 5 points we have done? Everyone, what are the 5 points we have done? Tell me. Let's write those 5 points, everyone. First one, overdue debts. In the overdue debts, what are we checking, everyone? 6 months to 5 years. And more than what? 5 years. What is the second thing we are checking? Are they declared as good or bad? Next one, is it affecting working of the society? Next, is it affecting working capital of the society? Next, whether there is any provision for bad debt created or not. Next, are there any chances of recovery or not? Next, whether society has taken proper steps or not. Clear or not? Is it clear, everybody? Yes? Okay. Second thing, what we checked, everyone? What did we check? Interest on overdue debts. What we are checking? If already included, what kind of suggestion you are going to give to the management if it is already included? Are you going to allow them to include it or deduct? Deduct or reduce it. Why? Because it shall be recognized on which basis? On receipt basis. It shall be recognized on a receipt basis. Point number 3, what we understood, everyone? Who is going to classify as bad debts? Who is going to classify the debts as a bad debts? If Maharashtra Cooperative Society rules 1961 is being followed, who is going to do it? Auditor. Otherwise, management committee. Very nice. Point number 4, everyone. Verification of what? Assets and liabilities. In the verification of assets and liabilities, what we are checking? Existence, completeness, ownership, valuation, what to say, accuracy. You can say that disclosures, presentation. And in the 5th point, what we have done? Whether cooperative society is following cooperative society principles or not. Yes, nature and extent also. Yes. Clear, everyone? So these are the 5 points we have done so far. So any doubt in those 5 points or no doubt? Everyone, any doubt or no doubt? No doubt. Are you guys automatically getting disconnected from the meeting? Please unmute yourself and say.
Sir, when there is no internet, we are getting disconnected, sir.
Okay, okay. So that might is it from your end or my end? I think it is from your end, right?
Yes, sir. It's
Yeah.
from our end.
Okay. Chalo. Let me know if any problem is there. Don't worry. Okay. Now, point number 5 is over. Now, point number 6 में observation of provisions of the Companies Act. Now, What do you mean by observations or provisions of the Company Act? Do you remember what are the things you have to generally observe when you're doing the audit of a cooperative society? Tell me, everyone. What are the observations you have to do? Do you have to observe the restrictions on borrowing, restrictions on loan, restrictions on shareholding, restrictions on investing, restriction on reserve fund, restriction on use of reserve fund? All these restrictions you have to observe or not? Yes. So whether the cooperative society is complying with the rules and regulations and the provisions of the Cooperative Society Act or not, that you all have to see. Now tell me one thing, how much charity you can do as a cooperative society? Write in the comment box, everyone. How much maximum charity you can do? Waiting. How much maximum charity you can do? 10%. Okay. 10% of what? Net profit after the reserve fund transfer or before? After or before? After. Right or not? So these are nothing but called as observations. Puja. No. Charity you have to do after the net profits left after the compulsory transfer to the reserve fund. When you are transferring the money to the reserve fund, then you have to see that it is before being declaration of bonus and dividend. Is it clear, Pooja? Yes or no? Crystal clear? Okay. Now, this is called observations. Next thing what we have to check, verification of members register, verification of okay, next thing what we have to check, everyone, verification of members register and examination of their passbook. Now try to understand this thing very carefully. Say for example, there is an illiterate person and that illiterate person went to the cooperative society and he took the loan. Illiterate member went to the cooperative society, he took a loan. Now he took a loan of 1 lakh rupees only for the 1 year. He took a loan of 1 lakh rupees only for the 1 year. So it means there will be 12 equal installments or not. Now that person is old and illiterate. Now whenever he is paying the installment, the cooperative society is not updating his passbook. Now tell me, is the cooperative society trying to do the fraud with that illiterate borrower or not? Yes or no? That illiterate borrower is paying the installment, but his loan is not getting ended. Now, don't you, and this generally happens where, it generally happens in the agricultural credit societies. Small agricultural farmers and all, there is a complete exploitation by the zamindari system. You all might have read that in your economics also when you were in foundation as a macroeconomics ka part. So what these big zamindars who are little bit rich in that particular village, what they will do, they will make one cooperative society. They will give the loans to the person and while recovering, they will recover the double, the triple the amount. Are you getting the point? And that poor farmer or the poor agriculturist will never come to know that when his loan is going to get over. So due to these kind of problems, auditor has to be very careful. Auditor has to, on the test basis, he should check the members register. On the test basis, he should check the members passbooks. Whether the cooperative society is putting some entries in that particular passbook or not. Whether their passbook is getting updated whenever they are paying the installment or not. Did you all understand my point of concern? Yes or no, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes. To read this point number 7, everyone, and please let me know you understood it and write the word CC in the comment box after reading it. Read the point number 7, everyone, carefully. What is the point number 7? Actually, my pen is getting charged. So till that time, you read. Examination of entries in the member's passbook regarding the loan given and its repayment and confirmation of loan balances in person is very much important in a cooperative society organization to ensure that entries in the books of accounts are free from manipulation. Specifically in the rural and agricultural credit societies, members are not literate. As such, this is a good safeguard on their part. Of course, this checking will be resorted to a test basis, which is a matter of judgment of whom? Auditor. Can we check each and every member's passbook? Is it possible? No, it is not possible because number of members will be more there. So at the same point of time, if the number of members are less, yes, we'll check each and every member's passbook. But if the number of members are more, we can check it on the test basis. But make sure that you are checking it very properly whether credit society is not doing any kind of fraud or not. Did you all understand the point number 7, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Now point number 8, everyone. What is very important point? What is the name of the point number 8, everyone? Read the point. Special report to the registrar. Now tell me what the registrar is saying. Registrar is saying do one thing. If you find any kind of serious irregularities, registrar is telling to the auditor that while doing the audit, if you find serious irregularities, serious means what? The level of fraud is so high. Serious irregularities if you find, then normally you have to issue me a normal audit report, but I want one special audit report also on that serious irregularities. That is why the name of the report is known as which report, everyone? Special report. So, sir, what do you mean by special report? Special report is a report to be issued by the auditor to the registrar separately or in addition to the normal report. It means in this case, the auditor is sending one audit report or two audit reports. Two audit reports. One is the normal audit report and one is the special audit report. Now, in the special audit report, what is focus? In the special audit report, what is his focus? His focus is on what? His focus is on those serious irregularities which he found while doing the audit. Now, what are the examples of those serious irregularities? Komal, please read it out. Read it out. Please read the point number 1. What is the example number 1?
Personal profiteering by members of managing committee in transactions of the society, which are ultimately detrimental. Sir, I can't see the whole.
Ultimately detrimental, that is continuing only.
Okay, detrimental to the interest of the society.
Now, everyone try to understand it very, very carefully. Now, see, what do you mean by personal profiteering? Whatever the incomes the loans will generate for the cooperative society, is it the income of the management committee or is it the income of the society?
Society.
It is the income of the society. But what the management people are doing, management people, whatever the interest income, whatever the loan recovery they are doing, they are putting in their own pocket. Now tell me, is it a serious irregularity or not? Yes. So this is what auditor has to report it under special report. Now read the point number 2, serious irregularity.
Detection of fraud relating to expenses, purchases, property, and stores of the society.
Acha, tell me one thing, what kind of frauds you can do with the expenses? Now, say for example, there is one person in the society who has been given the authority to buy the raw material. He actually bought the raw material for 10 lakh rupees, but he told to that person to make a bill of 13 lakh rupees. Now, he debited 13 lakh rupees and took the recovery of 13 lakh rupees. Now, tell me how much over expenditure he has put it in a P&L account? 3 lakh rupees. Now tell me, is it also a fraud or not? Yes. So this is the second example of the fraud. What is the third example?
Specific examples of mismanagement, decisions of management against cooperative principles.
Acha, tell me, what is the restriction on borrowing, Komal? What is the restriction on borrowing? Oh, sorry. What is the restriction on loans? Can you give the loans to the non-members who are individuals?
No.
No. But can you give the loans to the non-members which are societies?
Yes.
With the prior approval of?
Management.
With the prior approval of ROCs. Yes.
ROCs.
But say for example, you have given the loan to the another cooperative society and that is not your member, and you have not taken the permission of ROCs. Is it a management or mismanagement?
Mismanagement.
So is it a normal irregularity or serious irregularity?
Serious. Money is involved.
Yeah, money is involved. So that is what the point number 3. So did we follow the cooperative society principles? No, we did not. Management went in favor of them or against them?
Again.
That is what the point is all about. Now point number 4, try to read it slowly.
Yes, sir. In the case of urban cooperative banks, disproportionate advances to vested interest groups, such as relatives of management, and deliberate negligence about the recovery thereof.
Now stop. Now there are total 100 applications in front of me. Out of 100 application, 20 are my relatives and 80 are outsiders. Whatever the loan I have approved, everyone is my relative only. Now tell me, am I making it intentional or not? Yes or
Yes,
no? Am I giving intentionally the more and more loans to my relatives?
yes,
Yeah, is it ethical or unethical?
unethical.
And not only that, I'm doing what? Look at that point. I'm doing what? Deliberate negligence about the recovery. Are you getting now? Deliberately, I'm telling them don't pay the money. Keep the money with you only. Don't repay the loan because half of that money will come to my pocket. So, did we do some arrangement with the relative or not?
Yes,
Yes. And what is the next point? Cases of which advancing?
reckless
Reckless
advance.
advances. What do you mean by reckless advances? Now, whenever you will pay a loan to someone, whenever you will give a loan to someone, would you like to check the credit worthiness of that borrower?
Yes,
Yes, but are you checking or not checking?
not checking.
That is called cases of reckless advances, where the management is what?
Reckless.
Yes, read the point next, where the management is.
Where the management is negligent about taking adequate security and proper safeguards for judging the creditworthiness of the party.
Now, if I am giving to the loan to you for 2 crore rupees, do I expect a 3 crores of security from you? At least 3
Yes,
crores of security. Yes, 2 to 3 crore rupees of security. I'm giving you a loan of 2 crore rupees and you are giving me a 10 lakhs worth of security. Is it a adequate security?
no,
Inadequate security. So all these are the cases of what, everyone? A normal irregularities or serious irregularities.
serious.
That is why auditor has been given a special authority under the audit of cooperative society to make one additional report, that is called which report? Special report, everyone. Now, just Komal, read the first paragraph, please. Read the paragraph from the starting.
Again, sir, the
No,
special
no,
report.
no, no, no. Just, yeah, special report to the auditor. May read the paragraph from the starting.
During the course of audit, if the auditor notices that there are some serious irregularities in the working of the society, he may report these special matters to the registrar, drawing his specific attentions to the point. The registrar, on the receipt of such special report, may take necessary action against the society. In the following cases, for instance, special report may become necessary.
So whatever we have read from 1 to point number 4, these are the cases of gross negligence. These are the cases of serious irregularities. So in case there are serious irregularities, the auditor will find, he will not think twice, he will directly make a special report to the registrar so that registrar can take what? Necessary actions
Action.
against the society. So remember one thing, out of 10 questions so far which has been asked in the audit of cooperative society, 90% of the times they have asked this question only in the examination. That makes this question highly very important. So everyone, please make sure that you are putting 5-star marks to this particular topic called special report to the registrar. So many times this has been asked. So remember that you have to mention some 4 to 5 examples of what? Serious irregularities. So what are the simple method by which you can remember that? You can remember the word called personal profiteering by the management, over expenditure of purchases. You can write that non-compliance of cooperative principles. You can say that giving loans to the relatives, deliberate negligence while recovering, non-checking of the credit worthiness, inadequate security, reckless advances. All these major core words you have to remember. So let me just underline it for you for the betterment. My pencil is not getting charged. Just make sure that you are underlining it for your purpose. So what are the points which you have to remember? Just underline the word profiteering, personal profiteering. Then you can underline the word expenses, purchases, property. Then mismanagement, non-compliance of cooperative principles. You can see the word disproportionate advances in the point number 4. You can write deliberate negligence about recovery, loans to relatives, reckless advances. Are you getting inadequate security and non-checking of creditworthiness? So in that case, you can just break out the point number 4 into 4-5 points extra actually. So that can be a bigger answer for you. Are you getting the point? Now, Komal, please read the question number 9. What is the point number 9 we have to check?
Audit classification of society.
Now, listen to this very, 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 very carefully, everyone. Now, tell me, everyone, who gives the rank to the society? Auditor gives
Are
the, yeah,
okay.
auditor gives the rank to the society after doing the audit. Auditor will give a rank whether this society is rank number 1 or this society is rank number 10. But remember one thing, you are going to award the rank to the society. But remember one thing, if the management does not favor the rank provided by you, if the management thinks that the rank provided by you is not at all acceptable, then what the management can do? The management can appeal to registrar, and registrar may again tell you to review your rank which you have provided. Are you getting the point or not? So remember one thing, management has every right to oppose the rank given by you, and if it is justified, then you have to change your rank. Clear, everyone? So read the whole paragraph again, please.
After a judgment of an overall performance of the society, the auditor has to award a class to the society. This judgment is to be based on the criteria specified by the registrar. It may be noted here that if the management of the society is not satisfied about the award of the audit class, it can make an appeal to the registrar and registrar may direct to review audit classification. Auditors should be very careful while making decision about class of society.
It's a very simple thing, guys. Like in the normal company, do we make the modified opinion very carefully or not? Do you generally give the adverse opinion and disclaimer opinion to any company?
No.
No, it is a very rarest to the rarest opinion. Am I correct or not? Yes. So same is the case with class given to the society also. Suppose you are giving out of 10, you are giving 10 rank. 10 out of 10. So 10 out of 10 means what? You are not a good society. You are a poor society because your rank is 10. But giving the 10 rank, you have to be very careful because if the management is not satisfied with the rank provided by you, they can directly make an appeal to whom? Registrar. And if the registrar want, it may, give the directions to you to review it again. So you have to be very careful while making the decision about the class of society. Anybody is having any kind of doubt so far, whatever we have done? Tell me, everyone. Yes. Tell me, my friend. Sorry, my friend, you are not audible. Tell me again. You are saying that next year there will be a same auditor or different auditor? Yeah, please repeat. I think your mic is little bit away from your mouth. That's why the voice is coming less.
So,
Yeah, tell me now.
so the review purpose, the auditor the same auditor.
Same auditor only. Yeah, same auditor will be told to review it. Are you getting the point? Same auditor will be told. So registrar may tell to the auditor that management has made a complaint that they are not satisfied with your class given. Therefore, please change the class if you can do it. Or it's indirectly they are saying that you have to be very careful. Why to give that kind of chance to the registrar to tell you this? So make sure that while giving the class to the society, when giving the category or rank to the society, you have to be very careful. And obviously, you will give the rank according to the functioning of the society. If there is no any kind of personal profiteering, there is no irregularity, passbook entries are fine, books of accounts are fine, restrictions are within the limit, then there's no point of giving any poor rank. Then you will give the good rank only. Am I correct? So no other auditor will be allowed in that case. To the same auditor, the what do you say? this ROCS will request ki see if you can review, and if the same auditor says that ki no sir, my review is final, then it will be the final rank. ROCS cannot force the auditor to change the rank. He can just tell the auditor to review it again if something can be done or not. Are you getting the point or not? Did you understand? Yes. Okay. Perfect. Chalo.
Yes, sir.
So I hope all the things are gone, and now we are going to understand discussion of audit report with the management committee. This is the last point in doing the audit of cooperative society. After that, we have the audit of multi-cooperative society also. Discussion of draft audit report with the management committee. What do you mean by discussion of draft audit committee with the management committee, everyone? Remember one thing, before you make any audit report, remember one thing, your audit report shall be first sent to the management committee. Your audit report should be first sent to the management committee. If the management committee thinks that there are some few words or there are some wordings of the paragraph which is not at all apt or which is not at all suitable, in that case what the management will do? In the case the management thinks that your words are not suitable and your words are not appropriate as per the rank of the society, then in that case management may request the auditor to change the or rectify some of the minor irregularities or minor changes. Are you getting the point? So that is what is written in this paragraph. So Komal, please read the whole paragraph, please.
Discussion of
Yeah.
on conclusion of the audit, the auditor should ask the secretary of the society to convene managing committee meeting to discuss the audit draft report. The audit report should never be finalized without discussion with the managing committee. Minor irregularities may be got settled and rectified. Matters of policy should be discussed in detail.
So remember one thing, your audit report is going to be final because before finalizing your audit report, it is very much told that it's better to discuss it with whom? It is better to discuss it with the management if any minor irregularities are there, so that those irregularities can be easily rectified. I hope everyone is crystal clear with all the points. Yes or no? So up to 5 points we have written, and let's write the remaining 5 points, everyone. Now, what are the 5 points we are going to write? Point number 6. Observation that Cooperative Society Act rules and regulations are properly complied with. Auditor has to observe that. In the point number 7, auditor has to observe that he should test check what? Passbooks of the members, where he shall check that no manipulation is there. Entries of repayment are properly made. Clear or not? Are made properly. So in the point number 8 method, directly it is written which report, everyone?
Special.
Special report. So tell me one thing, what do you mean by special report? Special report is in addition to what? Normal report. It is in addition to the, my pen is troubling me today. So it is in addition to what? Normal audit report. And tell me one thing, who issues this report to whom? Auditor issues this report to whom? Registrar. On which kind of irregularities? Non-serious or serious one?
Yes.
So that the registrar can take the remedial action or he can take the necessary action. What are the examples of serious irregularities? Can you tell me some 5 to 6 examples? Write in the comment box, everyone.
Notes to the
Yeah. Personal profiteering is also one of the example or not? Yes, personal profiteering is one of the example. And second example is reckless,
regular purchases.
reckless advances, over purchases, over expenditures, non following the principles of Cooperative Society Act, or you can say that most of the loans are being given to whom? Relatives only. And are you recovering or deliberately non recovering? Deliberately you are not recovering. And inadequate security, you can say that non checking of credit worthiness. All these are the examples of what? Serious irregularities. Next one. When you give the rank to the society, is it final? When you give the rank to the society, is it final or it can be appealed?
It can be appealed.
It can be appealed by the management if they're not satisfied with whom? Registrar. And the registrar will direct the auditor to review it again. Therefore, auditor has to be very careful while making the decision about the category of the society. Next and the last point, while issuing the audit report, will you issue it directly or you will issue a what do you say, draft audit report first? You will issue a draft audit report first to the management. And if the management thinks that there are some minor irregularities or minor inefficiencies which can be rectified, so auditor, in basically they are trying to tell that auditor should not be that much strict in this case. If minor small chiller kind of errors are there, then in that case it should be rectified. Are you getting it? So should not finalize his audit report before getting it discussed with whom? Before discussing it with whom? Before discussing it with management, right? Now,
Sir,
yes,
ROCS appoints auditor in case of cooperative societies.
ROC.
There may be many cooperative societies in India, right?
Hmm.
So not all will be audited, right?
You cannot say that. Maybe, yeah, if you are a cooperative society registered one, then though you might be audited. You have to be audited because, like a company, every cooperative society is also required to be audited. But there is no such criteria. Like in the companies also we have understood either you are a Section 8 company or a non-Section 8 company. Either you are a profit-making company or a non-profit-making company. Does it matter to our audit?
No.
No, same is the case with a cooperative society also. It doesn't matter whether you are having high turnover or small turnover. So there is no such thing so far I have seen in the cooperative society. Clear? Yes or
Yes.
no?
Yes.
Yes. So form of audit report. Yes, and this is called multi-cooperative society. That is very simple actually. That is nothing but same as we have done in the Companies Act. Okay, then audit report. Okay. So let us understand this point. Read the point, please.
Rights and duties of cooperative auditors.
Hmm.
Section 17 of the Cooperative Societies Act 1912 contains audit provisions as under.
Hmm.
The registrar shall audit or cause to be audited by some person
Hmm.
authorized by him by general or special order in writing
Hmm.
in this behalf the accounts of every registered society once at least in every year.
Hmm.
The auditor under subsection 1 shall include an examination of overdue debts, if any, and a valuation of assets and liabilities of the society.
Hmm.
The registrar, the collector, or any person authorized by general or special order in writing in this behalf by the registrar shall at all times have access to all books, accounts, papers, and securities of the society,
Hmm.
and every officer of society shall furnish such information in regard to the transactions and working of the society as person making such inspection may require.
So it's a very simple thing written in the paragraph number 1 that who generally appoints you? ROCS. Are you clear?
ROCS.
And in the point number 2, it is being written that what are the major things, what are the special things you have to verify in that? Examination of
Overdue
overdue debts and valuation of assets and
liability.
liabilities. And if the registrar or the collector or any person authorized by the general or special order in writing in this behalf by the registrar shall at all times have an access to whom? All the books
Books,
and
accounts,
papers and securities of the society and every officer of the society. It's basically you. Do you remember all the rights of the auditor we have done in case of company audit?
company
Do you have a
auditors.
right to access the all books of accounts? Do you have the right to have information and explanation? All these points equally same applicable here. Are you getting the point or not? Now, generally, if you remember in the our audit report also, what do we say? Ki books of accounts are properly maintained or not? Financial statements are in agreement with what? Books of accounts are not. Balance sheet is giving which view, everyone? True and fair view. And P&L is also giving what? True and fair view. Information and explanation received or not. All that is nothing but copy pasted here. Just read it for the formality. The rest everything is same. Read it. Next paragraph.
On completion of audit, the auditor has to submit his audit report to the society and copies thereof to the respective authorities such as district special auditor, district deputy
Now just
registrar,
underline
etc.
that thing. Underline that thing. Who is the special person? District special auditor and district deputy registrar. Clear or not? So along with the ROCS, you have to issue the audit. You have to issue this report to these people also. Next point.
The audit report has to be submitted in the prescribed form specified by the registrar or as given in the related rules. According to the present prescribed form in some of the states, the auditor has to state
Same points which you have already done in the Companies Act. Instead of company, you have to use the word called society. That's it. Read the point number A.
whether he has obtained all the necessary information and explanation which to the best of his knowledge and belief were necessary for the purpose of audit, whether in his opinion and to the best of his information and according to the explanation given to him, the said accounts the information required by the Act, whether the profit and loss of the society gives a true and fair view of the profit and loss made by the society,
Yes.
whether the balance sheet drawn up as at the end of the year gives a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the society as on the given date, whether in his opinion proper books of accounts as required by the Act, the rules and the bylaws of the society have been properly maintained, whether the balance sheet and the P&L examined by him are in agreement with the books of accounts and
And returns.
returns.
So this is all simple things which we generally write in our company audit report. Same copy paste. We have to write it in the this one. Read the next paragraph, please.
Form of audit report. The form of audit report is to be submitted by the auditor as prescribed in various states, contains a number of matters which the auditor has to state or comment upon. For example, the rules formed under the Maharashtra State Cooperative Societies Act requires the auditor to make the usual affirmation pertaining to proper maintenance of books of accounts, true and fair nature of the financial statements, etc. In addition to the above, the auditor will have to attach schedules to the report regarding the following information.
Now,
All
remember, don't get carried away by this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points are nothing but the special report wale points just now we have done or not. Material irregularity
Yes, sir.
over all these points are nothing but copy pasted again. Right or not? Read it. You will come to know.
All transactions which appear to be contrary to the provisions of the Act, the rules and bylaws of the
What do you
society.
mean by contrary, everyone? In favor or against the act?
Again,
Against the act.
Yes.
Yes. Next one.
all sums which ought to have been but have not been brought into accounts by the society.
Means what? Some things which were required to be included in the books of accounts but have been included or not included?
Not included.
Not included. Next one.
Any material or property belonging to society which appears to the auditor to be bad or doubtful of
Do
recovery.
you remember that? Who classifies that whether particular overdue debt is a bad or good?
Auditor in case of
Auditor in case of Maharashtra.
Maharashtra.
So we are doing the Maharashtra State Cooperative Society Act only right now.
Yes.
Right or no? And what is the point number 4?
Any material irregularities or
Impropriety.
impropriety in expenditure or in the relation or monies due to society.
Now tell me one thing, when we give the loans to our relatives and all, do we deliberately go for negligence in recovery or not?
Yes.
Do we recover the money or does not recover the money?
Does not.
Does not recover the money. And what do you mean by impropriety in the expenditure? Should we do the needful expenditures or needless expenditures?
Important and
Important and needful expenditures. That is what the auditor has to report if there is any needless expenditure there. And
any other matter specified by the registrar in this behalf.
That's it. So you can leave this remaining part that is not that like required to be done and all. So up to this part, that is what required. And let me tell you one thing. In the audit of cooperative society, mein majorly they will ask you the special report, restriction on borrowing, restriction on these are the MCQ favorite chapters actually. They will never waste their 4 to 5 marks in asking you anything from this act, because this act is completely having small things only. Or right or not, like they may ask you, okay, let me ask you in this way. What kind of overdue debts the auditor would like to see? What kind of overdue debts the auditor
6
would like
months
to
to
see?
5
6
years
months to 5 years and more
or
than what?
more than 5 years.
5 years. Next point. Whether the interest on the overdue debts has to be included in the P&L statement or it should be reduced.
Should be
Should
reduced.
not
Should
be
be
included.
should not be included. It should be reduced. And when it should be included only on the which basis? Realization on the receipt basis. Clear or not? So whether the cooperative society can give a loan to its non-members?
No.
Yes, in case of
In case of
registered society
registered
with the prior
cooperative.
approval of ROCS. No, in case of individual members. Clear or not? So like that, they may ask you, small questions from that. And remember one thing. The next topic which we have is known as audit, inquiry, and inspection of which society? Multi-cooperatives, multi-state cooperative societies. It means those cooperative societies which are having their presence in one state or multi-states? Multi-states. So tell me, what is the act for the cooperative society, everyone? It was the Cooperative Societies Act 1912. And what is the act? It is known as MSCS, Multi-State Cooperative Society, MSCS Act 2002. And what is the year in which it got force into? It came into force on
August
August
2002.
2. So this is the act name. It came into force on August. So let me tell you one thing. While reading only, you will come to know that this is the same what we have done. 120% same what we have done in the Companies Act 2013. Are you getting the point or not? Start reading from, acha, tell me, in the Companies Act 2013, section number 128 talks about the books of accounts or not? What are the books of accounts every company has to maintain? Sales and purchase,
Valid.
assets and liabilities, receipts and what? Payments, and income and expenditure. Can you read this whole paragraph for all of us?
Yes.
Hmm.
Books of accounts. As per CAL 2002, every multi-state cooperative society shall keep books of accounts with respect to all sum of money received and expended and matters in respect of which the receipt and expenditure takes
Is it
place.
same or not? Receipts and payments and income and expenditures? Yes or no?
Hmm.
Yes. What is the
Yes.
next one?
All sales and purchase of goods, the assets and liabilities. In the case of multi-state cooperative society,
Tell me one
engaged
thing.
in
If you are a manufacturing company, what are the extra books of accounts you maintain?
cost records.
Same is the case. If you are a manufacturing multi-state cooperative society, you also have to maintain which records?
Other
Cost records. So
items of
these
cost
are
as
nothing but called as cost records, everyone. Clear or not?
yes, sir.
Yes. Now, do you remember the 11 disqualifications, everyone? 11
Yes, sir.
disqualifications. What are the 11 disqualifications? Are you allowed to be a body corporate? No.
No, auditor's disqualification.
Yeah, auditor's disqualification. The same disqualifications are here also. Just read it out.
A body corporate. Sir,
No,
in that case, LLP is not included, no?
no, LLP. Because we are specifically talking about MSCS now.
Yes.
So read it from the beginning. Read it from the beginning.
Okay. Qualification of auditors, Section 72 of the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act 2002 state that a person who is a chartered accountant within the meaning of Chartered Accountants Act 1949
Tell me
can
one
only
thing.
be
Who is
appointed.
eligible to be an auditor in India? Only chartered accountant or chartered accountant with a valid COP?
Valid COP.
Same point, 120% copy pasted here. Because they are saying chartered accountant within the meaning of Chartered Accountant Act 1949. And there under section 2 subsection 17 we have understood that a chartered accountant holding a valid COP is allowed to be the auditor in India, and these are the following disqualifications.
Disqualifications.
Yes. The only
Body.
difference what you will find, everyone please tell me how much was the indebtedness for more than how many lakhs is not allowed in case of Companies Act? Indebtedness for more than 5 lakhs. And indebtedness for guarantees and securities for more than what?
1 lakh.
1 lakh. Remember, both the 5 lakhs and 1 lakhs, here it is 1000. That's it. That is the only difference. Now start reading it, you will come to know.
A body corporate, an officer or employee of the multi-state cooperative society, a person who is a member or who is in the employment of an officer or employee of the multi-state cooperative society, a person who is indebted to the multi-state cooperative society or who has given any guarantee or provided any security in connection with the indebtedness of any third person to the multi-state cooperative society for an amount exceeding 1,000 rupees.
So what is the major difference here? For an amount exceeding 1000.
1,000.
In our case, it was 5 lakhs in case of normal indebtedness, and guarantee and security ke case mein more than what? 1 lakhs. Here both the situations, they have merged this point in point number D. You can see that in the point number D, normal indebtedness is also being talked about, and indebtedness relating to guarantee and what? Security. Both are being talked about, and both the limits are exceeding what? 1000 rupees.
1,000.
Right or not? Next point.
If an auditor becomes subject after his appointment to any of the disqualifications specified above, he shall be deemed to have vacated his office as such.
That we already know. If any auditor is subject to the disqualification, whether he can continue or he has to vacate his office.
Vacate his
So
office.
simple. It's 120% similar as what? Companies Act. Same as Companies Act. That's why generally we leave this part, because only the some points you have to remember. Ki the instead of 5 lakhs and 1 lakhs, it is nothing but what? 1000, right? Now tell me everyone, who appoints the first auditor of a non-government company? Quickly. Who appoints the first auditor of the non-government company? By the board of directors within 1 month from the date of incorporation.
Yes.
And who appoints the subsequent auditor of the non-government company? By the members in the AGM till the conclusion of 6th AGM. Am I correct or not?
Yes.
Same point here also. But instead of 6th AGM, it is 1 AGM, because 5 years of rotation is only allowed in which act?
Companies Act.
Companies Act. It is not allowed in case of what? Multi-cooperative society. So multi-cooperative society mein every auditor will keep on changing at every AGM. That is the only difference. Read out the whole paragraph, come on.
Section 70 of the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act 2002 provides that the first auditor or auditors of a multi-state cooperative society shall be appointed by the board within 1 month of the date of registration of such society, and the auditor or auditors so appointed shall hold office until the conclusion of the first annual general
Any
meeting.
kind of difference you found so far? No, it is completely same what we have read that in what? Companies Act. Clear? Next point. Go to the next paragraph. Subsequent auditor.
Subsequent auditor or auditors are appointed by multi-state cooperative society at each annual general meeting. The auditor or auditors so appointed shall hold the office from the conclusion of that meeting until the conclusion of the next meeting.
So here in the Companies Act, what we write? Until the conclusion of the 6th AGM. Here it is written until the conclusion of what? Next AGM. So that is the only second difference between the Companies Act and MSCS. Now, next one.
Power and duties of the auditor. Section 73 of Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act 2002 discusses the powers and duties of the auditors. According to this, every auditor of the multi-state cooperative society shall have a right of access at all times to the books, accounts, and
Same
vouchers
powers,
of the
same
society,
powers. Yes.
whether kept at the head office or elsewhere, and shall be entitled to require from the officers or other employees such information and explanation as the auditor may think necessary for the performance of his duties.
So do I have a power to access the books of accounts, and do I have a power to have any kind of information and explanation? Yes.
Yes.
So same what we have done in Companies Act, it is also same. Now, this point is same. Now, how many of you remember section number 143, subsection 1 of the Companies Act, where the 6 items we discussed? In my video which I shared to you, 6 items we discussed over there. What are the 6 items we discussed over there? Loans and advances. Yes, loans and advances. The deposit shall loans and advances shall not be categorized as what? Deposits. Personal expenditure shall not be debited to what? P&L account. Are you getting the point? Yes,
Investments.
sales and purchase must be not be merely book entries. It should be actual sales and actual purchase. And being a non-investment company, you are not allowed to sell your investment below your
At
cost.
lower than
Yes, so same points are there in front of you. Just read it out. As per section number
As per
73.
section 73(2), the auditor shall make following inquiries. 1 second, sir.
Yeah, it was duty to inquire in case of Companies Act, and it is duty to inquire in case of MSCS Act. Right or not?
Whether loans and advances made by the multi-state cooperative society against the pieces of security have been properly secured,
So same
and
point as it
whether
is. Yes.
the terms on which they have been made are not prejudicial to the interest of the society or its members. Whether transactions of the society which are represented merely by book entries are not prejudicial to the interest of the
Same
society.
sales and purchase point they are asking. Next point.
Whether personal expense have been charged to revenue account.
Personal expenditure debited to the P&L account. Same points. Next one.
Where it is stated in the books and papers of the society that any shares have been allotted for cash, whether cash has actually been received in respect of such allotment, and if no cash has actually been received, whether the position is stated in the accounts and the balance sheet as correct, regular, and not misleading.
So each and every word is nothing but similar to Companies Act or not, everyone? Yes or no? Only difference what you found over there in case of disqualification of indebtedness, what is the limit? Instead of 5 lakhs and 1 lakhs, the limit is what? 1,000. And second thing, subsequent auditor of a non-government company holds the office till the 6th AGM, but here subsequent auditor of MSCS hold the office till the
First
Next
AGM.
AGM.
next
Next
AGM.
AGM.
That is the only difference you have, right or not? Now,
Yes.
contents
Yes,
of the
sir.
audit report are same as per the Companies Act only. You can read that paragraph also. Why to leave?
Okay.
Yeah.
Content of auditor's report as per subsection 3 and 4 of section 73 of the Societies Act. The auditor shall make a report to the members of its society on the accounts examined by him and on every balance sheet and P&L and on every other document required to be part of or annexed to the balance sheet or P&L, which are laid before the society in general meeting during his tenure of office. And the report shall state whether, in his opinion and to the best of the information and according to the explanation given to him, the said account give the information required by this act in the manner so required and give a true and fair view.
Here or not? Same points. So same points. Just now we have read that in our Society Act. Same points. Instead of society, now you have to replace the word society with what?
Multi-state cooperative.
Multi-state cooperative society. Right or not? So I will suggest that you should do it at your home only or do it on your own. Same points, right? Now, this is the major topic. This is the topic which you have not understood so far. This is the extra topic we have to do. And if the question is going to come from MSCS, they're not going to ask you any question from MSCS so far, whatever we have read. They are going to ask you the question from this because they know that okay, the upper part, so we have already know that part in what? Companies Act. So they will never would like to waste their question on that. They would like to invest their time in asking you this question. What is the name of the question? Power of
CG.
central government to direct which audit?
Special audit.
Audit. Now, everyone, please try to understand this concept very carefully. First of all, it is not a normal audit. It is a which audit, everyone? Special audit. We are not talking about the normal audit. We are talking about the special audit. Now, see, if the central government is of the opinion that this multi-state cooperative society is not running properly, its management is mismanaging the things, its management is ruining the things, its management is going to bring this multi-state cooperative society on the edge of insolvency. And if the central government thinks that yes, by doing a special audit, something good can be done to this, not so good multi-state cooperative society, then the central government will order a which audit on that? special audit on that. So again repeating, if the central government has an opinion that this multi-state cooperative society is not at all performing well, and it's not that the cooperative society is wrong, it's that its management is poor. Its management is not able to run this cooperative society in a profitable manner. Its management is not able to do anything good to this cooperative society, and its management is causing serious injury, serious insolvency to this cooperative society. And if there is any ray of hope, then what the central government will do? Central government will conduct a which audit? Special audit. Now, what do you mean by special audit? A special auditor will be appointed for this kind of audit. Sir, what do you mean by special auditor? He is going to be a chartered accountant only. Is definitely going to be a chartered accountant only. But remember one thing, that special auditor will not be appointed by the MSCS. It will be directly appointed by whom? Central government. It will be directly appointed by central government. And to whom this auditor is going to report? Is also going to report directly to whom?
Central government.
Central government. All the powers and duties which are given to the normal auditor are also given to this auditor. And remember one thing, the same MSCS auditor can also be the special auditor. It means if you have already done the normal audit of that MSCS, you can be the special auditor also. Why? Because central government thinks that if you have done the normal audit, do you already have some information or not? Tell me, who is the best person to do the special audit? An outsider or already who has done the normal audit?
Already who has done
Done the normal audit. He is having better knowledge about that or not?
Yes.
Yes. So he will directly be reporting to whom? Central
Central
government.
government.
And he will get the two audit fees. Normal audit report may he got the normal audit fees. For the special audit report, he is going to get a special audit fees. And who is going to decide that audit fees? Central government will decide that audit fees, but who is going to pay that audit fees? That multi-state cooperative society will pay. Decision taken by the central government. Remuneration also decided by the central government, but payment will be made by
MSCS.
yes. So he is directly reporting to whom? Central government. This is what do you mean by special audit, everyone. I hope you all understood the gist what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes.
Yes or no? Now read it now, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Powers of central government to direct special audit in certain cases.
Remember
Under
this.
Section
Remember
77
this section, everyone. They will directly ask you section 77 audit also. So always remember this section. Read it.
Under Section 77 of MSCS Act 2002, where the central government is of the opinion that the affairs of any MSCS are not being managed in accordance with the self-help and mutual deed and cooperative principles or prudent commercial practices.
Don't
or
go
with
by
sound
these
business.
heavy words. Simply said, if the management is not properly managing the affairs of the cooperative society, simply you can write that. Are you getting the point? No need to write this heavy words like self-help, mutual deed, cooperative principle, prudential, commercial. If you will waste your time in remembering these words, the total time of writing the answer will go out. So simple, right? If the affairs of the multi-state cooperative society are not being managed properly, that's it.
Yes.
Here itself only you should cut off. Point number 2.
Or that any multi-state cooperative society is being managed in a manner likely to cause serious injury or damage to the interest of the trade, industry, or business to which it pertains.
Acha, tell me one thing. Do you all remember Docomo company? Docomo?
Yes, sir.
So can I say that Docomo was the first company who brought the telecom industry into the losses? Docomo, if I'm not wrong, Docomo was the first company which introduced per paisa per second charges of the calls. Are you getting the point? Before the Docomo was introduced in India, actually Tata brought the Docomo. So before the Docomo was there in India, it was 2 rupees outgoing and 1 rupees incoming. Incoming was free, 2 rupees was outgoing. I'm talking about year 2008 and 9. After that, what happened? Docomo came and then 1 paisa per second culture came. Now tell me, due to 1 paisa per second, even if you are talking about the 60 seconds, how much money it is going to be deducted? 60 paisa only. If you're talking for 71 seconds, how much paisa will be deducted? 71 paisa only. But before Docomo, what was to be deducted? Once you crossed 60th second, your second minute charges will also be charged. Am I correct or not? Yes or no? Yes. At that point of time, Docomo brought a serious injury to the industry in which it pertains. Then the central government did the special audit on the Docomo also. And the same audit was carried out on the Geo also in the 2016. Now tell me, when the Geo came, then all the industries went into losses or not? All the companies, Airtel, Vodafone, Idea. Now what the Geo introduced itself with? When the Geo introduced itself with, Mukesh Ambani in its AGM said only two words. Free calls. Second thing he said, free internet. Now tell me, for the 6 months, did he give you the free calls and free internet or not?
Yes.
Yes. Due to that, what happened to Airtel, Vodafone, Idea? Those who were,
Customers got diverted.
yeah, they also had to introduce the same kind of model in the market or not?
Yes.
Yes, and due to that, who suffered the losses? These three companies suffered the losses. Geo did not suffer the loss because Geo was backed up by whom?
Government.
No, no, Geo was backed up by Mukesh Ambani. And Mukesh Ambani is having a very financial strength. He can bear the losses for 1 year, completely. He's that much financially sound person. But what about the Airtel? What about the Vodafone? What about the Idea? Were they able to bear that loss? No. So they
No.
also have to come down, bend down, and due to that, special audit was conducted on Airtel, oh sorry, Geo also. Why did you do that? But Geo simply said that I'm for the country, I want to do some benefit to the people. There's nothing wrong in that. People are happy. Instead of temple, they are making the lines in front of Geo office in the morning 5 o'clock to get the SIM free of cost. What is wrong in that? I'm giving them the free calls, I'm giving them the free, what do you say, internet. What else do you want as a development of the nation? That's why court passed the judgment in the case of whom? Geo only.
Geo.
So that is what the various cases where the, you can say that special audits have been conducted in India. Okay, move next.
The central government may at any time, by order, direct that a special audit of a multi-state cooperative society's account for such period or periods as may be specified in the order shall be conducted and appoint either a chartered accountant or the multi-state cooperative society's auditor himself to conduct the
So what
special
they're
audit.
saying, either a outsider can do the audit or the same auditor who has done the audit of MSCS can also do the which audit? Special audit. Clear?
Special audit.
Yes. Next point.
However, central government shall order for special audit only if the government or the state government, either by itself or both, hold 51% or more of the paid-up capital in such society.
So it means that MSCS should be a government MSCS. What do you mean? What is the definition of government company, everyone? In which at least 51% is either held by central government or state government or combinedly by both. Then what is the definition of government MSCS? In which 51% of the paid up share capital is either held by central government or state government or directly by the both. Correct or not? So it means which MSCS can only get the special audit? On which MSCS the special audit can be conducted by the government? A non-government MSCS or government MSCS?
Government and
Government MSCS. Yes. Next point, read. Read it common. Yeah,
The
continue.
special auditor shall have the same powers and duties in relation to the special audit as an auditor of society has under section 73. However, the special auditor shall instead
Now
of
tell
making
me,
his
he makes a report to the members or he makes a report directly to the central government? Think logically. Who appointed him?
CG
So directly he will report also to whom?
central
CG.
government.
Yes.
The
Read.
special report shall instead of making his report to the members of the society, make the report to the central government.
Hmm.
The report of the special auditor shall include all matters required to be included in the auditor's report under section 73 and any other matter as directed by the central government.
Next one.
On receipt of the report of the special auditor, the central government may take such action on the report as it considers necessary.
So if
In
there is
accordance-
if there is any problem, with that MSCS, then in that case, central government has every right to take the action or not?
Yes.
Yes. Next point.
However, if the central government does not take any action on the report within 4 months,
This is
of
the
the date
major
of its
point. This is the
receipt,
major point, everyone. Underline. If the central government does not take the action within how many months?
4 months.
4 months from the date of its receipt, the government shall send the MSCS report or the extract with the comments thereon required by to circulate that copies to the members. So if the central government does not take any action, then this report will be directly sent to whom? Members of the cooperative society. So what is the time period for the central government to take up the action?
4 months.
4 months, right? So that is the major point here. Next thing. Who will decide the expenditures and who will decide the remuneration? Central government. But who will pay?
Society.
Society. Yes.
The expenses of and incidental to any special audit under this section, including the remuneration of the special auditor, shall be determined by the central government, which determination shall be final and paid by the multi-state cooperative society, and in default of such payment shall be recoverable from the society as an arrear of land revenue.
Next one.
Inquiry by
What is the
central
time
government.
now? It is 9, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, it is almost over. So we'll do one thing. We'll conduct this last paragraph tomorrow. And tomorrow we are going to start with which topic, everyone? Tomorrow we are going to start with the topic called fraud and auditors' responsibilities relating to fraud 240. After that, the small topic it is. After that, we'll start with the audit in automated environment. And once the audit in automated environment will be over, then we'll be left with only 2 chapters. What are the 2 chapters? Audit of different items and audit of different entities. These 2 chapters will be left with. Clear or not? Hello. See you guys tomorrow. Yeah.
Sir, I have heard that new syllabus audit of automated environment is quite different from the EDP or CIS which was existing in old.
EDP, your audit, CIS and EDP audit is very simple actually. In their audit, actually 2-3 extra techniques have been told. So little bit deeper in the way as compared to intermediate. Yes, it is.
Otherwise, it covers everything, right?
It covers your part also. Yeah, it covers your part also. Other than that, additionally, it covers something else also. Right?
Okay.
Chalo. Everybody, good night to all of you. Thank you so much for the class. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye everyone. Bye everyone. Take care. Good night. Thank you.